Now at 10, Major League Soccer and the city of St. Paul team up to seal the deal on a new stadium.
Most importantly, I wanted to take a look at the Midway site.
Put it down!
Plus a federal funding boost for police body cameras in the Twin Cities.
And KARE 11 investigates.
I knew I still had something to live for.
Unqualified doctors and misdiagnosed veterans. A Minnesota vet finally gets the help he needs. Thanks for joining us. For the first time, the Major League Soccer commissioner is weighing in on St. Paul's bid for a new stadium.
He toured the location tonight, calling it a perfect spot. But as John Croman explains, there is still plenty of work to do before the deal is done.
It's a barren piece of land near I-94 in Snelling that once served as the bus repair yard for Metro Transit. But in this era of location, this spot holds a whole lot of promise for Major League Soccer.
A soccer stadium for an MLS team at the Midway we think will be widely successful and will help fuel the growth of Major League Soccer.
MLS Commissioner Don Garber briefed the media about his tour of the Midway site, which may become the home of the Minnesota United Football Club as early as 2017.
And this central location I just really love. I love these two cities. I think these cities represent a whole lot of what our league represents.
It was Garber's first visit to St. Paul, and he agreed with Mayor Chris Coleman that a soccer stadium there could serve the dual purpose of revitalizing the area.
And when you can take all the energy of our players, of all the fans that will come into that site, 20, 25, maybe 30 times a year, we can be a catalyst for growth. And that's the way we view our league.
Garber said the Twin Cities is ideal for an MLS franchise because the area is attracting a high number of millennials and immigrants from parts of the world where soccer is the sport. Now it's a matter of getting down to business details.
It's like everything else. They've got to finalize deal terms. Before that could happen, we, the league, and I'm representing our board, our ownership, needed to get comfortable with that site and believe that there's a vision there.
Commissioner Garber and Mayor Coleman also met with Governor Dayton today, who pledged to support a bill that would make the land under the stadium exempt from local property taxes. Last spring, when the owners of the team asked for that at the state capitol, they were turned down by leaders who cited stadium fatigue. But Julie, we don't know if that'll change now that it's moving to Midway. The last time they asked, they were still over at the farmers market site in Minneapolis.
All right. Thank you, John.
Sure.
Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker says he is out of the presidential race. The decision comes after a recent poll shows his support at less than 0.5%.
Today, I believe that I'm being called to lead by helping to clear the field in this race so that a positive, conservative message can rise to the top of the field.
Referencing Donald Trump, Walker said Republicans need a positive, conservative alternative to the current frontrunner. Political analyst David Schultz says there are a couple of candidates who could rise to the top.
Walker's clearly banking on the idea that if he leaves, if a few other of these sort of candidates not doing well leave, that will then make it possible for somebody like perhaps a Jeb Bush maybe, or a Chris Christie or a Marco Rubio to do much better.
Walker's presidential campaign lasted just 2 months. His early momentum was stalled following his performances in the first 2 GOP debates.
Pilot programs for police body cameras in Minneapolis and St. Paul are getting a funding boost. The Department of Justice is giving both cities $600,000 each. It's all part of President Obama's plan to buy 50,000 body cameras for law enforcement agencies within 3 years. Cities can use the money to purchase equipment, pay for training, and store video. Minneapolis hopes to outfit all officers with cameras by early 2016.
There's a new apartment complex coming to University Avenue in St. Paul, but this one has a special purpose. This lot will soon be transformed into Prior Crossings apartments. The 44-unit building will house homeless youth who normally sleep in buses, on trains, and under bridges. Residents will also have access to employment and education opportunities.
Our experience in our other youth housing has been that this is absolutely transformative. So young adults who really have not had opportunities in the past are going on to do amazing things in their life.
Beacon Interfaith Housing is supporting the project. The group is made up of 70 congregations dedicating to helping eliminate youth homelessness in the Twin Cities.
Pope Francis was serenaded by a choir as he prayed inside a sanctuary in Santiago tonight. The stop was his last in Cuba before he travels to the U.S. tomorrow. Already, a Minnesota advocacy group for Latinos is on the road to D.C. for his visit, and they're not alone. The mayor of Rochester flies out tomorrow as well. New tonight, Chris Harapsky explains why the Lutheran thought his invite was a big scam.
It's just something that's so far from what you'd ever think you could do.
About a month ago, Rochester Mayor Ardell Brady received an email.
That's why I looked at it at first. I was like, what?
That would challenge any bucket list.
Dear Mayor, just generic. You're invited to join President Obama in welcoming His Holiness Pope Francis to the White House on Wednesday, September 23rd.
Immediately skeptical, Mayor Brady called the contact number on the invitation.
What list did you have where my name is on? And she says, I don't know, we just got it from the White House.
Are you Catholic?
No, I'm Lutheran.
Are you tight with the Pope?
No.
Are you tight with Obama?
Well, other than being a mayor and going there, and he's always been very welcoming for us.
Mayor Brady had pulled a Pope-a-dope. He has no idea why he's invited to see the Pope or the President.
So we checked the papal trail.
Well, first he thought it was because he's in the Conference of Mayors and they go to Washington, D.C. every year.
I get a note back and says, no, we're not involved with that at all, but it does look legit.
Maybe it was his efforts to try to get Obama to come to Rochester.
I don't think it's anything to do politically.
The Pope's talked about global warming. Brady signed a global warming petition. Nope. The best he can do is he used to know someone in the White House Intergovernmental Affairs office. He doesn't know.
Maybe it'll be revealed to me when I'm there as to what list did this come from.
Whatever it is, he's going Tuesday morning, proving sometimes it's not what you know, it's who you don't know.
It is a mystery.
In Rochester, Chris Harapsky, KARE 11 News.
Pope Francis will fly into Andrews Air Force Base tomorrow afternoon. He visits with President Obama at the White House on Wednesday. Still ahead at 10, the Twin Cities grocery scene gets a little more crowded with a new arrival.
Plus, history on wheels in St. Paul, why crews are closing down city streets, relocating this one-of-a-kind building.
And next, KARE 11 investigates invisible wounds.
So there was another 3 years that we sat and wondered why.
A Minnesota veteran finally gets the care he so desperately needs.
And in weather, let's take a look at this warm, balmy September night. We're dealing with one more day of summer tomorrow officially before autumn arrives on Wednesday. Today, we were 11 degrees above average. Look at this, 91 in Moorhead, 88 in Wilmer. And here is your last full official day of summer. A little bit of rain early in the morning, and then we'll get to 76. We'll talk about the rain returning for autumn in just a few minutes.
This little GoPro camera has quite a story to share.
I said, honey, I just lost the GoPro.
The secrets it revealed, Tuesday at 10, in the land of 10,000 stories.
A Minnesota veteran is finally getting the help he needs after KARE 11 News began investigating invisible wounds at the Minneapolis VA.
This summer, we exposed how the VA had been using unqualified doctors to perform traumatic brain injury exams, leading to misdiagnoses and denied benefits. But tonight, as KARE 11's A.J. Legault reports, it also delayed important medical care.
Plainview, Minnesota, a town so welcoming, even the corn waves. For Anton Welke, it's home.
Everybody always makes a comment about our steer. Oh, you're from Plainview? You got the steer?
Maybe it's the flagline streets, but Plainview seems to be the small American town where service to country,
Grandpa, Laverne, he was in World War II.
Is in the blood.
This one's my dad. He was in the Army. He was in Vietnam. And right here's mine.
Anton served on the flight deck aboard the USS John C. Stennis.
I think it's everyone's duty. They should do it. That's why I did it.
But that service very nearly cost him.
I'm like, we're not going to make it. This is not working.
Not just his marriage to wife Christina, but almost everything.
Almost made me take my own life. Go.
Just what could spark a man who appears to have so much to live for, to contemplate,
It's right in here somewhere.
ending it all? The answer lies buried in the pages of his military records.
I've never read any of these.
On a night when battle station alarms were sounded on board the Stennis,
There it is. April 6, 2002. Running up ladder well, hit head on bulkhead.
Bam, I was sitting on the ground and grabbed my hand and there's blood all over it. And I was just kind of like, whoa.
a heavy metal hatch
There was some vomiting.
slammed down on his head.
Just took me down to medical and got me stitched up and went right back to work.
The blow to the head was soon forgotten, but it wasn't long, a few months, before the young sailor started exhibiting unexplained issues.
Sleeping was one of my main issues. I would fly off the handle. Bad anger issues.
I started realizing that the guy that I married I wasn't really sure who was going to wake up every morning.
After leaving the Navy, Anton and Christina returned home to Plainview and started a family. But the once happy-go-lucky Anton seemed to be battling
Dr. Jekyll and Hyde, you know.
An ever-growing list of internal demons.
I just get mad at my wife, or I get mad, I lose feelings in my arms, and just I'm so drained, I can't stay awake.
He has a sleeping disorder. He has a mood disorder. He has panic disorder. He has been diagnosed with PTSD.
In 2012, believing Anton's issues might be related to his military service, his private doctors at Mayo recommended he go to the VA for help.
I truly thought I was going for help.
The VA sent him to their compensation and pension unit.
And he's trying to tell them, I need help. Not I need money, I need help. Help me.
Because of the old blow to the head detailed in his service records, Anton received a traumatic brain injury or TBI exam. Records show Dr. Wanda Blaylark did no neuropsychological testing and found no diagnosis of TBI. Anton went home with no TBI treatment and no answers.
It is, it's a big thing to sit and wonder in your head. Am I nuts?
The veteran found himself at his church.
I had nothing left in me. And
spending hours on his knees,
prayed to the Lord that
contemplating taking his life.
I didn't care no more. I was physically and mentally tired.
Looking up and in, Anton found strength through faith and family.
I knew I still had something to live for.
In our most intimate moments have looked at me in the eyes and said, I'm trying. Like, I don't want to lose you guys.
But there was still the question, why did he have these problems? 3 years would pass before the Welkies got an answer. KARE 11 Investigates began pushing the VA for answers about improper TBI exams. That's when Anton and 300 plus other Minnesota veterans received letters in the mail notifying them their previous TBI exam was done by an unqualified doctor. VA policy mandates only 4 types of specialists, including neurosurgeons, are qualified to make an initial TBI diagnosis. Dr. Blaylark, who did Anton's exam, is board certified in occupational medicine. She's not a TBI specialist. So Anton got a new exam, this time with a qualified doctor.
He actually did test with me. I wasn't a number finally. I was actually getting care.
Well, he said to you before you even left, without a doubt, you have a traumatic brain injury, and thank you for your service.
That finding by a qualified TBI specialist threw open the doors that the VA previously closed. Anton's now receiving treatment and cognitive therapy in the Minneapolis VA's top-notch polytrauma center. But he's left to wonder why the VA used a doctor not qualified to diagnose his injuries and denied him the help he needed for the past 3 years.
Yeah.
Million-dollar question. Veterans from across the country are sent to the Minneapolis VA's world-class polytrauma center for treatment of brain injuries. But when the VA uses unqualified doctors in comp and pen and they misdiagnose a veteran like Anton, they never get seen and treated by some of the best experts in the field.
Well, AJ, we know you've heard a lot about how this is happening here in Minneapolis. I assume then, is this happening all over the country? Is there any way to tell?
Well, in the words of Congressman Tim Walz, if it's happening here, it's probable it's happening elsewhere. That's why he's calling for a national investigation of how the VA is handling these TBI exams.
All right. Thank you so much, AJ.
All right, let's head outside. Belle's already out there. It's been a very, very nice day.
Sure has.
Not a bad week, little rain here and there, but boy, your weekend forecast
is looking good again. And we have a beautiful shot that I want to share with you. Nate Anderson took this picture very early this morning before sunrise. Of course, sunrise is now just at 7 a.m., but he was out there with Brian Pyatt going live for sunrise, and he took this just glorious picture of Lake Calhoun and a glorious start to a very warm September day. So I want to thank Nate Anderson, who is so wonderful and takes so many beautiful pictures for KARE 11, and we do appreciate it. So bottom line, it's going to be above average, basically at average or above average for the next 7 days. So today was remarkable. It was 81. Our average now is 70. But you can take a look at the country and you can see a few spots are in the lower 70s and upper 60s, as you can see here. But basically everybody is pretty mild. That means the jet stream is still to the north, and we don't have a big dip in the jet stream, meaning as August or as autumn officially arrives, that's on Wednesday. We're not calling for a big chill down, but we are calling for some rain. Right now, though, I want to show you this. It's 70 degrees still here at 10 o'clock, the dew point 57, and a south to southeast breeze at 13. So pretty quiet across the country. A little bit of rain moving into New York City, right out of Philadelphia. A little bit of rain as well in Montana. This is a cool front right here that's going to be impacting our weather overnight tonight. But the real story this week is this. This is what's left of a tropical depression that is bringing lots of copious rain into the Four Corners region. That rain is heading in our direction for the day on Wednesday and into Thursday, and then we'll clear out on Friday. Tonight, though, as you can see, a couple of showers and thunderstorms just starting to move into Crow Wing County, and we do expect that we'll have a couple of showers and thunderstorms tonight. Here is the computer cast. You can see that the computer is picking up on it as well, and that brings it through between actually midnight and about 9 a.m. Then the flow will come up out of the north, and that will allow that temperature to dip a little bit tomorrow. 76 is what we're forecasting. And then the bulk of the moisture gets here on Wednesday morning. This is 1 a.m. Wednesday morning. Here is drive time Wednesday morning. It is wet Wednesday morning. Autumn officially arrives at 3 a.m. on Wednesday, and it looks like it's going to be a very wet, cloudy first day of autumn. No question there. And then the rain will move out, as I mentioned, during the day. On Thursday, a couple of spotty showers left Friday. 62 as you wake up tomorrow morning. To enjoy tomorrow. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful last official day of summer. We'll have a spotty shower in the morning. Otherwise, looking pretty good. Partly cloudy skies. And then as we move away, you can see that we have the rain all day on Wednesday, mainly in the morning, heavy. And then on Thursday, a couple of scattered showers left over. A spotty shower Friday. And then again, as Randy mentioned, another beautiful weekend. And the bank will be busy, of course, Saturday and Sunday with the Gophers and the Vikings. Looks like it's lining up to be some great games.
Beautiful. Thank you, Belle.
All right.
Another competitor is joining the Twin Cities grocery game tomorrow morning. Hy-Vee in New Hope will open its doors with a ribbon cutting at 9. Today, we got a sneak peek inside the store, which includes a full-service deli and bakery, a restaurant called Market Grill, and a gas station outside.
Well, right now, let's take a live look at a 140-year-old house on the move in St. Paul. The Charles Palmer House was built in 1874, and up until tonight, it sat next to the Stone Saloon on Smith Avenue. The owner of the saloon sold it to the Preservation Alliance of Minnesota so he could expand his business. The home eventually will be moving a few blocks away to Douglas Street. Doesn't look like it's moving yet, but they're working on it. We'll check the progress a little later. Coming up in sports, the Gophers land one of the top basketball recruits in Minnesota.
Once hockey's back, the puck drops on preseason play for the Minnesota Wild.
KARE 11 Sports from the Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine Sports Desk.
If you're having a hard time wrapping your brain around autumn starting this week, maybe this will help. Hockey returns to XL Energy Center tonight. Wild in a preseason game with Buffalo. First period, Wild in the Sabre zone. Zach Parise, nice pass across ice to Jared Spurgeon. Slap shot, goal. Wild up 1-0. Second period, tied at 1. Parise's shot is blocked, but Mikhail Granlund Gets the rebound, scores on the wrist shot for the power play goal, but the Wild lose their opener 3-2. Dave Schwartz caught up with Zach Parisi before the game tonight.
Obviously, the main goal is for you guys to stay healthy in the preseason, but what else do you try to take out of this preseason schedule?
I think it's about getting into that game shape. I think it's about learning your timing, getting back familiar with your line mates.
How nice is it to come into the season with a roster and even a lot of lines that pretty much look a lot like they did last year? There's not a whole lot of changes for you.
Yeah, everyone's familiar with each other and everyone likes each other, so it's a good thing. But we like the team we've got. We know that we can compete. There's no systems there. I mean, everyone knows how to play.
Not that you're ancient by any stretch of the imagination, but as the career goes on, does your approach to the season change every year?
You still have that excitement. Doesn't matter, how long you've played. It's still that excitement to start a new season and be ready to play, and understanding that you are getting older and you're trying to enjoy everything, and but at the same time, still getting better, trying to work on your game. And
well, for that entire interview, head to KARE11.com. NFL tonight, Jets lead the Indianapolis Colts late. Last Monday night, well, we don't discuss that anymore. Instead, we focus on the good stuff, like the Vikings beating the Lions and Adrian Peterson running wild yesterday. Except, what was up with those fumbles? Surely they're going to work on those this week, right, Coach?
Yes, we need to correct those quickly. Because we can't have those fumbles. But yeah, there's some things we have to do to take care of that, and we'll be working on them this week.
Good get for the Gophers. Amir Coffey is staying home. I fumbled. Get it? Never mind. The 6'7" senior at Hopkins High School, the Royals. He waits until his school day is over, and then, of course, he announces he's coming to the University of Minnesota to play hoops next fall. This is great news. Remember this 60-footer? To beat Shakopee in the state semifinals a couple years ago, he's considered the state's top recruit.
The chemistry I have with the players already, like off the court, good friends with a lot of them, and the coaching staff they're good people, and I just felt like home, felt right for me, so I just decided to go there.
Good, looking good in the maroon and gold. And finally, Anthony Bennett, is he going to get bought out by the Timberwolves? The forward, who is part of the Kevin Love deal, is owed $5.8 million this season, but Yahoo Sports reporting the Timberwolves are maneuvering to cut him loose. No official word from the team yet. Stay tuned. That's sports. See, basketball too. It's fall.
Before we go, another look at that historic home on the move in St. Paul. I guess it's out on the street now.
Oh my.
Crews are about 30 minutes into the delicate operation, taking the Charles Palmer house to its temporary location where it will be rehabbed. The 140-year-old home relocating from its Smith Avenue location so the neighboring bar can expand. The 800-square-foot building will be rehabbed to include modern amenities while preserving its historic features. It will then be sold to a new owner. Tonight's move expected to take about an hour. It's moving. See you tomorrow.